painted it with black gesso, which is an acrylic paint, and that was painted on with a sponge and left to dry. So that takes about 15 minutes to dry. So that's why I had a black canvas when I started with my popper picture. Okay, just so we're not too confused on that. I love working on black canvases, and with the landscapes, seascapes, and with flowers. So it is one of my favourite things to do. So I just do it now, and I don't really think about telling anybody how to do it. Okay.
What about grey gesso?
Grey gesso is very nice as well. There is Bob Ross grey gesso available, as well as the black gesso.
It's in the room.
It's in the room, and it just gives you just a different background. And you know, you can colour all your backgrounds in with colour and paint and oils, and you know, make them as vivid or as subtle as you want. But grey backgrounds and black backgrounds just give it that extra dimension, really. So that was it, really. So this one is just a plain canvas. I always buy canvases that are double or triple primed. I don't buy cheap canvases that are that just say primed, because usually, you know, you can get them from the pound shop, and they're a pound. And they're really, you know, they're canvases, but you need to prime them again because they're so cheap. So you spend more time and more money priming them if you buy cheaper canvases. So if you buy canvases that are a little bit more expensive, I'm not talking really expensive, but a little bit more expensive, then you use less paint, really. So one, you know, saving in one hand and spending another, you never really know. It's a bit of a balancing thing. So I always buy something that says double or triple primed, and I buy Loxley canvases. Loxley Gold are best type of canvases, but there is a cheaper Loxley canvas, which is Loxley Ashgate, and they're fine. I use those a lot. So this is a double primed Loxley Ashgate canvas, and I'm now putting Bob Ross liquid white onto the canvas in a thin, even coat with my Bob Ross 2-inch brush. And I just need a thin, even coat, that's all. It's not a lot of paint, but it needs to be wet until you can see it. Then, think about the sun. So, we're having the sun out today. This is yellow ochre. All my hair's dropping out of my brush. Yeah, it is Bob Ross. And this is my pinky bit. Now this, for a little while, looks like a very weird fried egg. So just bear with me on it, you know, for a little while, like so. How unattractive would that be if you got that on your full breakfast? There you go. Thank you. Give me some more beans.
Is that Bob Ross paper?
This is from the pound shop. And this has been cut up by my mother. My mother goes out and seeks the cheapest kitchen roll.
Friday.
She then... Fried egg. And she goes and seeks the cheapest kitchen roll. She purchases it. My mother's the only person I know that reads all those leaflets that come through the door with all the offers on. And she goes out and she buys the cheapest kitchen roll. She takes it home. She tears it all off into a little pile, cuts it up in half, puts it back in the bag, and delivers it to my house. And that is her duty as part of Jayne's cottage industry.
Because you don't get paid.
She doesn't get paid, but she gets a works outing. We have works outings. We go. We have Christmas parties, and they're a bit boring. Me, my mum and the dog. That's a little bit boring. But we do have works outings and, you know, company meals, and we have been on a mystery tour, which wasn't much of a mystery because I was driving. But we do, you know, I have to treat her well. I have to treat her well.
Do you? You
Yes.
don't treat the rest of us any, but...
She does, yeah. So, you're just a hanger-on.
Sorry.
This is my store career. Wherever I go. So, I've got, as you can see, a blue sky with a little bit of pinky bit and a bit of yellowy bit. And the sun is starting to set down at Mablethorpe Beach. Now we need the sun, so this is where you go for a bit of blue Peter and put in a sun. Well, it's over the other side. Did you not know Mablethorpe got a west coast as well?
No.
No, didn't you know?
Can't be Mablethorpe, the sun's out.
Oh, it's a very, very sunny place. You've just not been there on the right day. Oh dear, that's a bit over. I won't have a word said against it. Mablethorpe's got one of the best beaches in this country, really. It's a beautiful beach.
It's got a lovely cafe called Bob's Cafe.
That's amazing. I must go.
It's just as you go in on the left-hand side.
Do you think they might want some pictures? Could have some pictures on the wall. Now I'm putting some clouds into this sky because, you know, it wouldn't be like England, would it, if we didn't have a few clouds. But we'll have white fluffy ones for the time being. So this is using my and this is swirly whirly. Okay? Swirly whirly. Then get your big brush back and twizzle. So you rub the bottom of the cloud in with the bottom of the sky so that it's mixing and blending and softening, just using the corner of the brush, flick it over it and across, and you get.
Can we have that in slow motion?
No, that would be giving
God,
too
that was
much
too quick.
information. You need to come on a class.
I've only been on 7. How many do you want me to come on?
Swirly whirly, I told you. Stop. Swirly whirly, think cumulus.
Around the grammar school dustbins again.
I'll tell you, I went to grammar school, matey, and I went to the same school as Margaret Thatcher. At a different time. She went a bit before me, but she did come and visit our school while I was at school. She was made Prime Minister while I was at school.
Is that the one day you went?
She kept. I know who said that then. And I was sat at the back of the class, because that's where I like to be, at the back of the class. And she only talked to the governor's daughters at the front.
Oh.
So she didn't get to speak to me. Anyway, that was my... So I am a Lincolnshire lass, me. I'm a Lincolnshire yellow belly.
I'm from Boston.
I'm from Boston. Yeah. Have I talked to you about that?
Stump.
I was born in Boston.
Well, never mind, eh?
Somebody has to.
Yeah.
Right, so we've got a few clouds. Can you see that? Shall we have some dark, moody clouds? No? Right then.
You said it was sunshine.
Yeah, I quite like moody clouds.
Yeah.
Right, well we won't have them. That's okay. That's fine. I can cope. 2-inch brush, and I have to do a horizon now, and it has to be as level as possible. So I'm going to have to just stand in the middle for a bit. Okay, because that isn't level, is it? I can see that now. Right, hold on a moment.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Went flicky uppy at the back of it at the end. But I'll put a bit of land there later. So,
Yeah.
there's a bit of a storm going on over there. So, a bit of blue.
That's not Mablethorpe.
No, it is. There's nobody in the water.
This is Shovels and Leonard's. Okay, so we've got a bit of, we want some darks in it. I might like to put a bit of black in it, because I was going to have black clouds, remember? That's a killer whale. I like a bit of muck in my sea. You see, it would just be, you know, it's not really if I haven't got a bit of dullness in it. So we need something on the horizon just to take your eye away from it. So if you've not been particularly successful with getting your straight horizon, you can do dobby dabbies and have a little bit of land on the horizon. This is a long way away, so we don't want a lot of detail. So this is the tapping technique, like so. A little island in the distance. Looks a bit like a elephant laid down. Oh, I don't like it now. I'll have to change that. I'll have to be a bit hillier. There's some trees growing on this here island. That one wants to be different. That'll come down that way. Dabby dobby dibby. And this is colour mixed. This is blue, black and a bit of crimson. So it's the three colours that I've got in there already. I'm going to take a little tiny bit of the white and just tap the tiniest little bit on the edge of the land, and I could bring little lines down so it looks like different sort of hills. So you've got more than one. Just by just adding a little highlight. You have to kind of be careful not to make it too white, else it starts to look like snow. So you're just sort of defining and separating some of the edges with a tiny bit of light. And it's the dark that's on the land that makes the light jump out. Okay. That looks right, doesn't it? Okay, so we're going for the Bob Ross palette knife with a little roll of paint on the blade and put in a little water line, just a little ripple, so it looks like the water is getting up there on the edge of our little island in the distance. Don't want it too thick, else it just brings it too forward in your picture. But we do want some ripply stuff, so it looks like the water's moving. So as close as you can to your light source, little ripples to make it look like the water is breaking back there. All them lovely, lovely white horses. Like that, waves are breaking. Can you see it, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, Jane. Oh, did
Yes,
somebody
Jane.
say it looked good? Thanks.
You haven't got the glasses on, love. That's
Okay. Are we ready?
yes.
We're going
Let's have an
for
adventure.
more waves. We're going for a big one. Tension's building.
What's this?
Tsunami. Oh yes, there's been one of them. He mustn't say that because it's just been one of them. So this is the way to make a Bobby Ross wave.
Ooh.
So we have a curvy bit there, and you have a big curvy bit there, and you have an uppy downy bit there. Okay? That is your plan for your wave. Then you put your fan brush into your clean white paint. Get a bit of the thin white as well, because that makes it a bit whiter, because it's shinier. And then go to this line. This is your crashy ovary bit. So in a wave, you always need your crashy ovary bit.
Oh, yes.
What's happening? Like so. Crashy ovary bit. Then this bit here is the lifty uppy bit. So this is not as much paint. We only want a bit of a guide here. So this I'll just do a little curve there. Can you see that curve? That's the eye of the wave. Then as you come away from the eye, the angle that you paint lays down and becomes straighter. Like that. So, can you see that? That starts like that, and then as you get further away, it lays down like that. Because that's actually the water here is lifting up, up, and then going ka-chung over. Ka-chung. So, that's the guide we have. We do need a dark colour, because in a way there's a lot of shadows. So on here I've got my black, blue and crimson, which is what I put in the sky and the water here. So I'll put a little bit of blue into my black and a bit of crimson. Oh, I've got it on there, might as well put it in. That'll make a nice purpley colour. Like that. Mix it up with my Bob Ross palette knife, which you should never be far away from your Bob Ross palette knife. And we're going to go into the dark paint on the corners of the brush. And you can put your paint all across if you wanted to, but you know. So we're going over here, and this is a very similar technique to how we did the thank you, clouds. Thank you. Can't remember, what did I say I did one? Swirly whirly. Swirly whirly. Thank you, team, remembering that, well done. So, we're going for the crest of the wave and we're going curly whirly. Like that. That's the crest. Then we're going across the top of the wave where the foam is. And we want it to be dark. We need some darks. If you don't have darks, you won't see the light. If you don't have the rain, you won't see the rainbow.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, see, it's just, isn't it? It's one big experience here tonight. along. Swirly whirly, think crashy uppy, think waves, think wind, all that. And in fact, you could hit a rock and cascade back like that. Like that. This is the shadow in your wave. So, I need to wipe my brush off in my Bob Ross odorless thinners, in my Bob Ross bucket and
Spade, you nearly said it.
Yes, bucket and spade, bucket and screen. My studio at home also doubles as a shop. If anybody is looking for Bob Ross stuff, you can find it in my studio. At a bargain price as well, I can assure you. I'm getting ready for the NEC show in November and getting all my stock in for that. And do you ever go to the art material show at the NEC in November? Yeah. It's hobby crafts and art materials. And me and my assistant, I might as well give her a ticket to get in, you see, because I know she's going to be there anyway. Then she just helps carry things. So,
like I say, we don't get paid.
Painting up and doing it for the love of it.
Yes, darling.
So, we need to pull some of this down into our wave. Like so. Attach the foam to the wave. Like so. It's happening, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bit of there, flatten that off there so we know it's sitting on flat water. Like so. So we need some white for this foam on this side. Along here. And if it doesn't stick, you go like that. And you dab it. Because sometimes when there's a lot of paint on there, it's difficult to get it to stick. So that's when you use the forceful dabbing technique. And you think about the people that cut you up at the traffic lights and all of that. Like swirly whirly, look, oh yes, it's moving now, things are happening in this sea. There's a rock here, remember, that it's hit. Okay, so we've got, oh, I need a new brush now. We've got some water in. Now we need to make sure that we know where the beach is going. It's down here. So I'm going to put the beach in first before we finish the wave. This is yellow ochre, the same as the colour in the sky. So I do tend to keep a very small palette, I've got a large palette, but a small, what is it?
Limited palette.
Limited palette. See, I knew you'd know that. I use a limited palette.
We're using that forevermore now.
If I can remember, I'll use it again, most definitely. A limited palette. I have got an O-level in art, I'll have you know. Thank you. But we did pottery for our O-level. Didn't help me at all with painting. So I'm going to put my yellow just over my blue, which there is a risk of it going green, but it doesn't really matter. But what we want is that yellow to look like it's either under or on top of the blue. So you do need to join them. Then, when you make something of that area, it'll just look like wet sand. It's just going to be amazing. Are you ready?
Yes, Jane.
Approach the canvas. Put some white paint on and pull down. Like so. Along here. Okay, wipe your brush off. You've all gone a bit quiet now, that's worrying.
We're in thrall, that's why.
That's okay then.
No, the sun's going down, we want to go back to the hotel.
You'll stay until the sun's completely gone and like it. Okay, so just going across there, can you see it kind of makes it look like the light is, does it? Like the light is shining on me wet sand. Ooh. Down in Mablethorpe. I'll put a bit more on. I don't like it. Like that. So, just that little shimmer will start to shine even more when I look at my palette knife. I load it with my liquid white. So this is the white stuff that I put on first. It's thinner, whiter and shinier. And this is a good bit, right? Left, right. Lowering the handle to create wavelets coming onto the sand.
Almost real.
Almost. You could just be there, couldn't you? There we go. A few wavelets coming onto the beach.
Do you bring any samples of rock with you?
No, but I will approach the rock problem later. There will be rock.
No, I mean, the rock you eat, not the rock.
Oh no.
Same Bob Ross, right, in the middle.
I don't like rock, you know. Isn't that funny? I've never liked rock. I prefer an ice cream any day. Not many rock shops you get now, actually. I don't know where you get rock from. We won't worry about it though, will we?
No.
I prefer a green tea nowadays anyway. I think it might be something to do with age. Right, so just a few more wavelets. Do they look like wavelets?
Yes, yes.
All good. Right, we now need them. Oh, that's quite good up there, look, doesn't it? We need a bit of spray. So, this is 1-inch brush. Approach the canvas and dab. We'll have a bit of spray going over the top of the horizon like so. Oh yes, the wind is catching the waves and it's throwing the water up there to the sky, and it's all just looking lovely, and perhaps a bit over the top, but never mind.
A bit here from eternity type, is that what it is?
It's large. Oh, that's large as well. You know that wind we were supposed to get yesterday that never happened? It came up to the coast here.
Sound effects as well.
Yeah. Now I'm wondering whether we perhaps need a bit more action at the back. Back here. Maybe a bit more of a building up here of a wavy over here. Before the Syrian army hits. Like that. Like that. Yeah, so we'll have a rock then. We've got time for a rock, everybody. So Van Dyke Brown. In the Bob Ross world. Van Dyke Brown. On my Bob Ross palette knife. Think rock. So we'll have a rock here. So that it looks like it's hitting that rock, and that's what's creating this crashy backy bit. That's the crashy backy bit, that bit. So this is Van Dyke Brown, smeared on in an artistic way. Perhaps one a bit lower down here. You do have to do them big enough, else they look like somebody didn't have the food bag with them. I'm sorry, that wasn't very nice. Doggy people will understand. Right. So we need a bit of white. And we're marbling the paint this time. So this is my Van Dyke Brown with a bit of white marbled. So that's not over mixing. So that when I cut across to get a roll, there'll be brown and white. And then I'm just going to just drag that marbled colour onto the rock. Ooh. Don't know where that went. Like that. Maybe a bit lighter. Like that. We need, now this bit, I love this bit. In fact, I love it all really. I was a civil servant, you know. Now, this is my job. I mean, it's terrible, isn't it? How awful. Get up in the morning, think, oh, I've got to paint a picture today. Oh. So, with my 1-inch brush, touch, pull down, touch, pull down, touch, pull down. Now, it gets a bit scary this, but when people have done this as a workshop, so we've got to this point, workshops 10 till 4. So about 3 o'clock, we start to do the rocks. And people go, oh, I'm doing a rock. I don't want to do a rock. Might go wrong. And then when I said to them, pull it down and then go across. I go, I don't want to do a rock. It's going to look wrong, it's going to look bad. Well, you know, if you fail the bravery test and don't do a rock, it's something you're going to have to live with, I say to them. So they go, ooh, I know. Bob Ross is well known for doing pictures with a big tree in it. And people will say, write in and stuff about the programmes and say, why did he put one of those great big trees right at the front of this picture when it looked very nice without? But it's all to do with just, you know, giving yourself something near the front of your picture with some heaviness, some darks near the front of your picture. And it can be a tree, it can be a rock, it can be a fence, but something dark sort of sits your painting down so you've got some heaviness down here, and your eye doesn't go just to your middle ground and up, starts at the bottom and goes through your painting. So now I've got my shadows in my rocks, I can then go back and put some more waterlines underneath it. so that these little ripples can join the ones that are already there. A bit more, do you think, there? And I mean, I love this. I love this bit. I just think, how amazing. Just to think you just pull some brown paint and go across it and it suddenly looks like wet sand. And, you know, it's just amazing that if you would get a chance to look at Bob Ross on the television, it's on YouTube all the time, but I don't think he's on the telly at the minute, but you can find him on YouTube, and there's lots of people taking the mickey out of him on YouTube, so make sure you really get the proper Bob Ross. But, you know, he does these just amazing things. He just, you know, flicks and dubs and dabs, and he's just got this effect that's just amazing. And it is possible for anybody to be able to do it, and that's the beauty of it. Now, you're all a member of this art society, so you're all arty in your own way. This type of painting, anybody can do. You know, you've introduced yourself to painting in whatever form you do. If you do pastels, drawing, whatever you do, people who have never picked a paintbrush up can paint this technique as easily